It's really interesting. There are different contradictions here, but from here we have to learn the transition that our world has to go through. There has to be a critical kind of development here, a point of crisis. It's a very non-simple point. I'd say that it is a psychological shift, an inner change, a change in the way you think, and also externally wise. It's a transition, inversion. What's the difference between the women today and then? It's a new kind of perception, of thinking, where a person starts perceiving that the world is integral, that the world is interconnected, that we're all interdependent, and therefore the only way to influence it is through mutual responsibility, mutual guarantee. A bestowing woman in the interconnected world, what does she look like? How is she? Ideally wise, it's a woman that feels, and also later on a man. It's a person, let's say in general. It's a person that feels that the entire world is his family, that nature is his home, that he depends on everyone and everyone depends on him mutually. That's in general. But a woman, every woman, we hope that we'll come to that not through the blows of nature, but through education which will precede the blows, and then we'll reach this feeling through education and not through the evolution, which is merciless, that it works through pressure and blows. So, first of all, we would like to reach a state where the women, even before the men, will understand that in order to succeed in building a new generation, building a family, living in a society that satisfies everyone, that cleanses everyone from all the garbage, the previous stigmas, that all this is achievable through the approach which is natural for them, for the new world, that they have to arrange the world as one family, as the new world, where everyone's close, like in a family. So there are these relatives and those and different kinds, but there's a connection between everyone, and this is how it has to be. And in this respect, a woman is much more sensitive and more inclined to it than a man. And then, when she will decide that yes, the world has to be that way, then women can take to the squares and the streets and demand in parliament and in other places the change that has to happen. And really then the whole world will listen. And not like now. Where are the 30 or 50% of women in your organization? Where? I was a part of many such international committees, and after we chose a certain board or directorate or something, afterwards the women stood up and said, but there are only men there. Where are our 20% or 30%, the way it's acceptable in society? So they cleaned 30% of the men and artificially put in 30% women. So to look as if we're politically correct. So that's artificial. Of course it's artificial. What is a non-artificial process? Because a woman isn't supposed to be there. So what is natural? The moment people will understand the changes that have to happen in modern society in accordance with the integral nature that society has to be interconnected, accordingly they'll be able to demand it. And then both the implementation, the demand, the direction, the management, It fits them more than it fits men. As Abraham was told, listen to what Sarah tells you. So again, you're saying that today, artificially looking at the percentage of women for it to be equal in every forum or whatever, that's artificial. It's just called politically correct. It's accepted that way. Otherwise, it's not nice. Furthermore, you're saying that the fact that the world is becoming more interconnected, that castrates men. So why don't men just move aside and let women manage the world? When? The next moment, if possible. No, it's impossible, because our world is still egoistic and it has to be managed by men. It can't be managed by women. I'm telling you that they're put there artificially, or there's such women put there that they're like men, so to speak, in pants, that they're men by character. Okay, so how would we manage the world in an interconnected female manner? First of all, don't speak about the world, because nature is already changing and demands us to be interconnected. So what does it demand in terms of management? Education. For us to be different, for us to understand where do we have to head, in what manner, and accordingly women will manage this transition. So if I understand correctly, you're saying that women have a preparation for it from nature. They give birth, they know how to connect counter matters, something that men can't do. Yeah, I said that. From nature, they have the willingness for it, but to make the transition, this is something that they can't do by nature. They can't, because now we're rising to the next level of human development, and we have to go through it consciously, ourselves, out of free choice, where we agree with it, that we want it, and that we're also forced to do it. So it's from all directions. So you have to, first of all, start giving women integral education. You have to do that. You have to give them the new perception of the world, and you'll see that they'll accept it. Even though that individually they can't, but in general they can. Individually, a woman can't accept anyone into her family, but towards all the families, all the women, all the children, all the world, she can. So you have to teach her how to be a leader in an interconnected society. That's step one. Step one. Take all the women and start changing the world. What do you mean? It means that you take half of the population of the world and you start changing the entire population. And women, if they know what are they doing it for, don't worry. They'll do the work instead of you. Each one of them in the bedroom, in the kitchen, she'll find her man, she'll work on him, and he'll do what she wants him to do. And on the social level, not in a family. On the social level, you'll see how it'll work. The men will do what they're told to do. And what position will women then have in managing society? Then society will develop according to their desire. But the one to realize the development is the man. There's a combination of two forces here. So there's management and implementation. So women manage, men implement. By management, I mean leadership, setting the direction, where we headed. And then the realizing force is the male force. There are two forces to management. The deficiency, meaning the want, where to head, what exactly do I want? That as a woman I feel that this is how it's supposed to be from the perspective of the vessel, of the general desire, of humanity. And the realization of this force, how will we advance? This is the men. And not just men, but chosen men that can bring women the powers in accordance with their desire, according to their demand, that then society will advance that way, according to the power of the man and the desire of the woman. Therefore, as Abraham was told, listen to what Sarah tells you.